Welcome back to Massapeel, everyone. We are getting into St. Patrick's Day spirit with a traditional Irish dish. We're making bangers and mash.
And we're doing so with Chef John Slattery, General Manager, Head Chef, Pabst Bar and Grill. How you doing?
Fantastic. And yourself?
Good, although I feel
I'm feeling better now that I have this.
I think I've seen Snoop Dogg wear this exact same hat.
I'm pretty sure.
People, that's my nickname on the weekend.
Get a big emerald
Lauren,
ring
Snoop
and you'd be cruising, some
Love
bling.
it. Yeah. Bangers and mash.
Bangers and mash.
What is it? Why do people love it so much?
Bangers and mash. Well, it's pork sausage. And everybody likes pork because they like bacon and things. Well, most people like pork. So,
that's true.
So a lot of people like bangers. It's similar to a breakfast sausage in the spicing. It's got some sage and things. But what makes bangers different in Ireland and Europe is that they add some cracker meal to it. Back in the day, meat was expensive, so making the sausages, they did crazy stuff like make blood sausage, where they just took the blood and oats and made it into the sausage. So that's all the way to one level. This here is they've got about 80% pork and some seasonings and about 20% breadcrumbs in them.
In the same way that if you were going to make meatballs, a lot of people throw breadcrumbs in meatballs.
Right, to help maintain the moisture and to stretch it in.
Now, you were telling me, I don't know if you were yanking my chain earlier, but that they're called bangers because they explode?
So, right, when they're cooking, and we'll talk about how they cook, it's a low and slow process, and as they get to the point when they're just about done, the casing swells up, and they kind of explode, and you'll hear a little pop, a little bang, so they go bang. Okay. So they're called bangers. And the mash part is, mashed potatoes.
That's easy.
In Ireland, one of the signature mashed potatoes they make is called champs. And it's simply an all-white mashed potato with no peels, salt, pepper, butter, and some green onions. So the important part about making a good mashed potato is to blend different types of potatoes. You really get a better final product. So what I like to use is a russet potato, which is like your baking potato. And they're a little bit larger a lot of times, a little more uniform in shape, and they have a thicker skin, and their meat is drier. There's less water content. And which is okay, because then if you use a white potato, a white flesh potato, which has a thinner skin,
and those have a markedly different skin.
Now that I'm seeing them next to each other,
and a red potato would be similar to this white potato, and they have more moisture in them. So I like to take a dry potato and a moist potato, and we're going to cut them up, peel them for this particular dish, and we'll boil them off into mashed potatoes.
Easy enough.
All right, and this is kind of a low and slow dish. So I've got a pan here on low heat, and you traditionally put a little bit of butter in the pan.
There you go.
Low is relative term in TV heating.
Yeah, TV magic makes low and slow pretty difficult.
So anyway, you would then take your sausages, and they come usually in 1 ounce links, or 2 ounce links, or 4 ounce links. These sausages were locally made in Holyoke by our friends at Strum's Deli. So it's nice to use a local product.
Definitely.
And the bigger they are, the longer they're going to take to cook, because we want to cook them on that low heat. And you would just put them in on one side and fill the pan with it on low heat. Put the cover on for a little while and let them go. So, and then they're going to cook, and they're going to be, you'll hear them sizzling, and they'll start to be brown on one side. And so at that point, when they're brown on one side, we'd roll them over.
And then you'd hear them pop, and that pretty much indicates that they're close to done?
They're just about done, and we want to try and catch them right before they pop even, because now we're going to make the gravy part of the dish. So the sausage has slow cooked for a while, maybe 20 minutes. We've rolled them over in the dish. And then we're still on low heat, and now we're going to add to it the onions.
So it's a pan sauce, more or less?
Yes.
That's great.
So we've got the grease from the sausage in the pan. That's going to be our cooking thing, that tiny bit of butter that we use. And then we're going to add some onions.
Oh, yeah. This is also a really affordable dish, too, because potatoes are affordable.
Very affordable.
Yeah. Absolutely, and it goes a long way. The gravy comes out really good, and then you can make lots of mashed potatoes and stretch the gravy. Everybody gets a couple of bangers and a nice pile of potatoes.
My goodness,
so the onions caramelize down a little bit, and then we're going to add to it a little bit of salt and some fresh pepper.
And then it wouldn't be a meal without some Guinness or some
Irish stout. We've got a delicious Irish stout here. So we're going to, now that in TV time, the onions have cooked more than they really have.
So ideally, you want to caramelize them a little bit, translucent maybe.
And then we're going to add just about 2 ounces of Guinness.
Yep.
That's going to steam the onion.
And then we just let it cook down for a little bit.
And then we're going to add just a little bit of a prepared beef gravy or a demi-glace or something of that nature. About 2 or 3 ounces of that as well.
Oh, wow. Oh, that sounds good.
And so then we leave the low heat on.
Oh, that sounds good.
And we put the lid on. And now it's time. Now the mashed potatoes are going to boil.
Yeah.
And when we come back, we're going to put it all together.
That sounds
Took the
good.
words
Sorry,
right out of my mouth.
my jaw has dropped. I need to put it into its regular
John,
spot.
thank you so much for
Yeah.
coming in. And of course, we will have this recipe right on our website on mymassappeal.com.
We are back with John Slattery from Pat's Bar and Grill. We're making bangers and mash. We're partially through it.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Bangers and mash. So we've gotten our mashed potatoes are boiled up,
Okay.
and our bangers have been simmering in the gravy with the onions now.
Now, if people miss this, it's deceptively easy to make. So basically, you start the sausages.
Right.
Then you add in some onions. You let them become translucent, and then the sauce is a beef-based sauce with a little bit of some stout in there, right?
Yeah, a little bit of stout, a little bit of cracked pepper. Now we're going to add a little bit of parsley. Starting to get it greened
Yeah.
up for the occasion here.
And it's getting, the sauce is thickening up a little bit, and that's what we're going for, right?
Yeah. So
Okay.
as we're reducing the beer out of the gravy, turning it back down into gravy. So now we're going to drain the potatoes.
Okay. Now the potatoes, you ask 10 people how to make potatoes, they'll tell you 10 different ways. We talked earlier about wanting to use multiple different kinds of potatoes.
Right. That helps to add for the final texture. Also, if they're going to be on a table, a family table or something like that for a little while, the drier potatoes will help them stay together. Wet potatoes tend to get soggy.
I get
So now don't mash them too much so we can put the ingredients in.
All right, yeah, that's a good point.
Because we don't want to over mash them. We don't want them to be too smooth. We're not whipping them pre-armed. So we're going
Yeah,
to
a
put
little
some
chunky is good.
fresh cracked pepper,
Okay.
salt, lots of butter.
Yes. Okay, good. I see all those globs. Are we putting them all in?
Yeah, we're going to put like 3 in for
So,
this amount.
if
here.
keeping track at home, that's 3 globs of butter.
That's what goes into mashing it. Now these green onions, because that's what's going to make it champs. And a little bit of parsley. Now mash good. Mash, mash, mash.
All right,
mash.
mash away. In the meantime, how do you know when the bangers portion is done?
All right, so I'm going to open that again. We'll
Okay.
show the final product. Here's the milk and the mash and the bangers.
What's your thoughts on cheese in these potatoes?
I mean, that would be delicious.
Okay.
In Ireland, cheese wasn't really readily available that much. They maybe would have some farmer's cheese or some cottage cheese or something like that that might be served alongside of this. The traditional dish would just be the mash. So here we go. We're going to
Gotcha.
plate this up real
All right, here we
beautiful
go.
now. You can see that nice green color we've got in the potatoes.
Yeah.
Just from the scallions, and they add really nice flavor.
In the same way that the blueberries and the blueberry muffins that we made earlier in the show make that dish healthy, I'm pretty confident that because of all the the green herbs in here, that makes it healthy too.
So now our sausages have been cooking in with the gravy, and they've swollen and they've popped. That means that they're done. Now, an important thing about bangers is you want to make sure that you don't leave them in the liquid too long. They're not like the kind of sausage that you can just leave in a water bath, like hot dogs or bratwurst or anything like that. Because they have the cracker meal in them, they'll get really, really soggy.
Oh, I never thought about it that way. Okay.
And so then we place some
Little bit of
bangers
that.
on top.
Oh, and then this onion mix, which
This
is
onion
just,
gravy.
Oh, that's something. John Slattery, folks. Excellent work.
We'll top it with a little bit more parsley and a little knob of butter for the potatoes.
Oh, man. John, always a pleasure
Bangers
having
and
you
mash,
here.
ladies
Thank
and
you so much. Lauren Zenzi is off camera, just teeming with excitement. She cannot wait. Always a pleasure to have you here. You can get this recipe at our website, mymassappeal.com. Good
Happy
to
St.
see you, my
Patrick's
friend.
Day. Thanks
Happy
for coming.
St. Patrick's Day. No worries. You can come back sometime.